I like ego depletion because I'm able to translate this into procrastination for different things. I'm not going to do this, especially not now. I probably have bigger things to think about later on in my life.
I might murder someone if I try to do Sudoku.
You know how every day Dan gets me. You know how Dan every day we want to murder people, and you're just trying not to murder people every minute of the day. That's ego depletion.
Right. Thanks for listening to Drunk Ethics. If you would like to earn behavioral ethics CPE for listening to this podcast, there is now a premium course available for purchase on the Earmark app. Just go to earmarkcpe.com or download the Earmark app from the App Store or from the Google Play Store. And now raise your glass to this episode of Drunk Ethics.
Zero shots in.
Accountants have the responsibility to uphold accountability, transparency, and ensure ethical decision-making.
And are expected to support fair and reliable financial reporting and disclosures in support of the public interest.
Hello, and welcome to Drunk Ethics. I'm Greg Kite. I am a licensed CPA in the great state of Utah.
And I'm Adam Browd. I have a master's in business administration from Brigham Young University.
Drunk Ethics is the only certified course where the presenters get more and more drunk while at the same time discussing the intricacies of behavioral ethics.
Today's episode is ego depletion, transparency, and tequila.
We are going to take 7 shots during the course of this 1-hour podcast. So, Adam, let's just get this first one out of the way right now. Bottoms up.
Okay.
It's like poison.
That is the second time I've ever had tequila. How fun is that?
Right on. Well, welcome to a whole new world, Adam Browd.
Second time, and I'm going to go all the way till my 8th time of having tequila just today. So fun. Good.
Do you see where we're at?
No.
We also have another.
There we go.
There it is.
We also have another person in the studio with us today, the wonderful Crystal Paloa. She is in charge of our fate. When she rings the bell, we have to take another shot.
And for today's podcast, we are drinking Sparkle Donkey Tequila.
They are not a sponsor. We are poor.
They do sparkle, and it is tequila. And
I liked that. That was actually pretty good.
This might be the best tequila I've ever had.
It was better than the other tequila that I had one time.
Did it? It's like it's got a little sweetness to it too. Hopefully they will be a sponsor now that they and it
that
is
agave is nice.
Seriously, okay, real quick story.
Please.
So I found this tequila when Crystal and I were on a trip to Jackson Hole. We stopped at several liquor stores on the way there and the way back searched for a completely different type of booze.
Yeah.
And when I found Sparkle Donkey Tequila, El Burro Esparcalo, I was like, I can't not pick that up. So it's just been sitting on a shelf.
It is a beautiful looking bottle as well.
It is.
It's really pretty.
And here's another fun fact. I don't know if you knew this about tequila.
I don't know most things.
Tequila. Okay, first off, do you know tequila is made from blue agave?
I did know that.
And do you know that it's only manufactured in certain parts of Mexico?
Oh, for real?
Yeah, and I believe in terms of ethics, I believe it is unethical for one to call tequila if it's not made in those certain parts of Mexico, and it's definitely unethical for them to call tequila if it's not made from blue agave.
Interesting.
Otherwise, it needs to be called mezcal,
Oh.
which I've actually never had mezcal.
So it's like champagne or sparkling wine
right.
deal.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing. There's ethics everywhere. But the weird thing is, again, would it be unethical to make something from, I don't know, purple agave and say that it's still tequila? How would you interpret that yourself?
I think
in terms of the ethics of tequila and versus mezcal.
I think it's just unethical to gatekeep the word tequila in general. We all know what it means. So
Right.
just call it all tequila.
Does it taste like hot piss? Then it's tequila. Don't church it up, mezcal.
I think just don't give drunks too much to talk about is the problem, because I feel like this conversation has probably happened 1,000 times.
Right.
After people took their first shot of tequila.
Yeah.
And mezcal and tequila, they just need to come together like the Capulets and the Montagues and overcome their differences.
You are so not going to be quoting or citing Shakespeare.
I plan on
in about 20 minutes.
I plan on citing a different Shakespearean play for each shot. This one is Romeo and Juliet. Just
perfect.
Wait what's to come.
I love it. Now, to get into it, we got two main topics we're talking about. The first one today is called ego depletion. Real quick, Adam, one of the many things I love about having you here on the podcast is that you have a background in psychology.
Yes.
Your undergrad degree was in psychology?
Yes, my undergrad was psychology.
I have one undergrad in mathematics,
very
nice. Different from psychology. Another one in accounting, also very different from psychology.
I'm amazed that even with those degrees, you still understand humans. I think that's very impressive.
Yeah, well, last time you were like, "Oh, I get accounting ethics. You guys are supposed to be robots."
That's true,
and I think that's a wonderful insight.
I said that before 3 shots, and after that, you can't quote me back to myself because I don't know that I remember much of it. This podcast is very fun. It's fun to get paid to get drunk. It feels like being a hot girl at a bar is what it feels like right now. This is fun.
Right
never experienced this before.
Well, honestly, for something that's accounting CPE, you are the hot girl at the bar. But let's get so ego depletion. It's a term that most people don't know the term, but most people I think at least have some kind of concept of the idea behind the term of ego depletion. Ego depletion.
It's when you drink all your ego. I mean, I know what the ego is, right?
Right.
But is it that deep? We're talking like id and e? Probably not.
Well, no, I think it is. Okay, so real quick, and you stop me when I'm wrong. Quick refresher course on Freudian psychology.
Yeah, there's
3 portions of the psyche.
Correct.
There's the id, which is like the animal brain, like all I want to do is hump and eat. Right? Is that? I think that's what Freud.
I think Freud would probably say that, and he'd be like, "Hell yeah, that's exactly what
he would say." Oh, but yes, that's correct.
If anything, he'd be like, "But mostly just your mother."
Right.
He'd insert. I don't want to say the word insert.
Anyway. That's. Yeah, good call. And then there's the superego, which is the part of you that's like, if I understand, and maybe I need some clarification. The superego is like your super logical side, where it's like, need this is what's right, this is what makes sense.
That's what I remember.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the ego is really what moderates you between the two things, which makes sure that the id doesn't go too hard towards humping and eating.
It's that social filter.
Yeah, and it also regulates you from going too hard into this. It keeps us from being human robots.
Yeah, it keeps you in check.
Yeah, and so ego depletion. The idea of ego depletion is that humans have a limited supply of willpower on any given day or any given period of time. And as you use up your finite supply of willpower, then
your ego gets tired.
Yeah.
It can only say no so many times. That's kind of what it is, right?
Right. And I think the idea is that the ego is basically your self-control.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So we got that. And this actually comes to our snacks today because trying to be an ethical and responsible person who's having a friend over to get him crazy drunk in 50 minutes, I do have some things for us to eat because it's always good to have.
Things is a good description of some of what is in front of us, yes.
These come from the original experiment from the late 1980s. And that's a weird thing. Ego depletion was not labeled as such until the late 1980s, where I was going, why wasn't it a thing that was labeled in like...
Brains didn't exist before the 80s.
I guess something. It's weird. But here's what the experimenter did there is he had people...
there's a second shot.
There's the bell. Here we go. Number 2, Sparkle Donkey.
Woo.
It really is like the smoothest tequila I've ever had in my life.
I overfilled my shot glass.
You did.
Sure.
Yep, you did.
But it's really not bad.
No. So in the original experiment for ego depletion, what the experimenter did is he had fresh baked cookies.
Oh, yum.
And the fresh baked I don't have fresh baked cookies, but not only were they fresh baked, they like baked them in the room where the people who were in the experiment were, so it smelled like fresh baked cookies.
I already know enough about psychology to know that if there's fresh baked cookies in this, it means, and they also had, get this, a steaming pile of shit. And they made people eat that shit. And that's like what every psychology experience is. It's like, Picture this, a really nice situation. Everyone's like, that's so nice. And then they made them do this horrible thing that everyone's going to be embarrassed to say that they're a part of. So what did they do?
So they had the fresh baked cookies.
There you go.
And it smelled like fresh baked cookies.
Delicious.
And then they also had a plate full of radishes is what it was. And they told, and like randomly, they told some people in the experiment, you get to eat cookies, as many cookies as you want.
Psychologists are the worst.
And the other group was like, you have to eat radishes.
Yeah, and everyone was probably thrilled with either decision.
Yeah, right. Right. But apparently there was still in this experiment, the people it was like, you have to eat the radishes.
Yeah.
But you'll get rewarded if you only eat the radishes. You'll get punished somehow, or you won't get the reward if you eat the cookies.
Still feels very psychological.
Right, exactly.
Even the cookies are not as good as you wish they could be.
This
is life. This is a reflection on life.
And I assume for the cookie people, it'd be like, hey, you could go ahead and knock yourself out on the radishes.
Yeah.
But you won't get as much of a reward if you just stick with the cookies. So it wasn't a thing. But then after that, the food part of the experiment went away, and then they forced all the people to trace a design. They're like, you have to trace this design on this piece of paper. It was a very intricate design, and it was one of those things where you can't lift your pencil off the paper to trace it. And they're like, you win if you can trace the entire thing without lifting your pencil off the paper. And the thing that the people in the experiment didn't know is it was impossible. It was impossible to complete
you
it.
Have to lift it. To be able to trace. Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. But it was interesting. So you couldn't really tell that unless you knew it ahead of time.
Also, what I love about psychological experiences is that they perfectly reflect life. You know how when you're sitting somewhere and someone's like, you can only eat turnips, and then they have you trace a picture.
Right.
Typical. Yeah.
That was Tuesday for me at work. It's weird. My boss is weird.
Yeah.
But what they were recording was how
much time you spent on it,
how long they would before they gave up.
Sure.
They'd go how much time you spent trying to trace this and how many attempts you took to trace it.
Okay.
And it was nearly for the people who got to eat cookies.
Yeah.
It was like double. Double the amount of tries, double the amount of time they spent trying to do the.
If you ate cookies, you wanted to try harder.
Well, but it wasn't so much that. It was that if you used up your self-control eating those goddamn radishes. And so at the end of that, you didn't have
because your ego kept telling you, hey, we're eating radishes.
It's like, it smells so good in here.
That by the time it's like, and now I have to do this crappy art project, you're like, no, I'm going to bounce.
Right.
That's what it was?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and
so the idea, really, and it's not technically true, but the idea was that the cookie group was the control group and the radish group was the experimental group. And it's not a perfect control.
No, it doesn't feel like
No, but I mean, there had to be some third group that was like, we got no food and had to trace. And maybe
those are some of my favorite ones is when it's like, and then there was a control group who just like sat around for half an hour and we just watched them.
Right.
That's it.
Right. So that was supposed to be the initial display of ego depletion. And so because of that, the snacks I have here today I couldn't find. My grocery store did not have radishes, but they had turnips.
They had turnips.
Yeah. And so Adam, you during this entire podcast, you can only eat the turnips or you don't get paid for the podcast.
Bullshit.
No, you signed
No.
And if you eat one freaking Reese's Pieces, which is one of your favorite candies,
that's true.
You get no money for this podcast. So we'll see how long you can last on that. But
you don't even know how you have no understanding of who I am because I am only going to eat Reese's Pieces this whole time.
Okay.
Because let me just say, if I was in that study, my trust for authority is so low that if someone's like, you can have this, but then later there's going to be a reward, I'd be like, bullshit. Only trust what's in front of you right now. It's the only thing you could do, especially for psychologists.
Okay, while you were talking, I ate a bite of a turnip.
Terrible decision.
They're not good.
You need tequila to wash out the bad turnip taste.
I do.
That's how bad turnips taste.
Is it time to take another shot? Can we anyways? I don't have anything to wash.
Ego depletion. Did you know that Obama, this is what I heard, Obama wore like the exact same thing every single day to avoid ego depletion? Have you heard this before?
No, I haven't.
Or it was either that or he had someone else pick out his clothes. I can't remember which it is. But basically, he said that he wanted to limit the amount. And maybe I'm completely off, and people who are listening to this can like comment or whatever. But I'm pretty sure he said that way he can limit the amount of decisions he was making in a day, so that when bigger ones came up, he wasn't just like, sure, nuke him and like move on with his life. Like he was just like, well, I didn't choose my suit today, so I can actually say don't nuke them.
Okay.
I can stop with that.
Let's get back to that in just a second.
I also do the exact same thing. I wear almost the exact same outfit every single day for the same reason, because I think of myself as highly as the President of the United States of America.
As you should, because what do you do? What's your day job?
My day job is writing silly ads and making jokes and telling them on stage.
And you want to make sure you're not ethically and morally compromised.
Yeah, that's why I do
that.
It.
Well, let's get specifically to some professional ethics.
Okay.
So the guy that I refer to tons and tons throughout all of the ethical training that I do is a gentleman named Dan Ariely. Which, fun fact, I got to meet him. I actually interviewed him.
Dan Ariola?
Yeah,
I've never heard of him.
On an old podcast, Dan Ariely.
That's what
I
I
almost
said.
have it. And I so badly wanted this guy to like me. Like, I was like, I'm going to be funny and I'm going to be fun. He was so annoyed with me throughout the entire... No, he, like, seriously, because he is a college professor, and I totally got the vibe off of him the entire time I was interviewing, where he was like, hey, how about you just stop talking?
Oh, there we go.
There's the tone. Finally, this turnip. I
don't know why 3 is always the easiest one.
That was seriously this Sparkle Donkey. I can't recommend it enough. So, so he was like, "You're not funny and you're talking too much. How about you shut up and let me say what I want to say?"
Dan, if you're listening to this, Greg is a delight.
And
Please
you've
give
been
him a second chance.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But here's what he says in his book, The Honest Truth About Dishonesty. He says, if you wear down your willpower, you will have considerably more trouble regulating your desires, and that difficulty can wear down your honesty as well.
Oh.
We are continually tempted throughout the day, and our ability to fight this temptation weakens with time and accumulated resistance.
So he thinks we just default to being liar, liar, pants on fire type people?
Yeah, well, I think
it takes more courage or will to be able to like tell the truth when you're tempted to lie.
Yeah. And if you're tempted to lie over and over, if there's
mostly makes me feel like Dan's a bad person. That's what that quote makes. Dan is like, you know how we all want to lie constantly. You know how you're just on the. It's like a Freudian thing where it's like, you know how you want to have sex with your mom, and everyone's
like,
the what?
No, what? Huh?
He's like, let's move past this.
Yeah. Okay, but my bigger point.
I'm sure you're a good guy,
stands.
Dan. Dan, if you're listening to this, listen to how nice Greg is being to you and how mean I am.
Right, because
compare that. Greg's a delight.
Yeah,
I'm a bastard. Don't hang out with me.
Give me a second. Maybe Dan had a bad day before he got on the podcast.
Maybe
his ego had been depleted. But here's the thing. Here's how he backs up his claim. He, as a behavioral psychologist, a behavioral economist,
yes,
he did an experiment with people. And here's the experiment. And I have the picture on your paper.
Oh, yeah.
You have too. So the experiment was this. He has a box, a square. Uh-huh. There's a line that goes through the middle of the square, dividing it in half.
Box and dots.
And then there's just random. The dots are random.
Okay,
they're there. So this was the graphic that came up. The only thing that changed every time the graphic came up was the dots and where they were in the boxes. I think even maybe the number of dots changed every time.
Okay,
but he did this experiment. So if you came
pops up different dots, different locations.
Okay, and you had one. You got to look at the square with dots.
Yes,
for exactly 1 second.
Okay,
and then after looking at it for 1 second, you had to decide whether you believed there was more dots on the right-hand side or on the left-hand side of the box.
Oh, okay.
And that was the whole thing.
I've looked at this for like 30 seconds now, and I still couldn't tell you which side.
And you know what? I've used this.
Maybe?
I'm an accountant, and I've used this graphic innumerable times. I have never taken the time to count the dots to figure out which one, which I think that's a betrayal of my profession.
No, I
think
that's good because that would deplete your ego. You got bigger questions to answer instead. So that's good.
Yeah. So,
this is also, okay, I like ego depletion because I'm able to translate this into procrastination for different things. I'm not going to do this, especially not now. I probably have bigger things to think about later on in my life.
I might murder someone if I try to do Sudoku.
You know how every day Dan gets me. You know how Dan every day we want to murder people, and you're just trying not to murder people every minute of the day. That's ego depletion.
Right. So, okay, so here's how, so far you understand the concept of what these people were supposed to do.
Yeah.
The way that he depleted their ego was thusly.
Okay.
Is that if you click, so your job and what your question was is there's more dots on which side of this box.
Yeah.
And so your job was to either click left or right, but you got paid a half a cent every time you said that there was more on the right side. You got paid 5 cents every time you clicked that there was more on the left side.
Okay.
So your job was to say which side had more dots. Your compensation was based on whether you were clicking right or left, regardless of where the dots were.
Tricky.
Yeah, and
I like this one.
And not only
devious.
that, you signed up to do this for an hour of your life. So you're seeing the graphic for 1 second, and you have to respond right or left.
I don't know if this is true, but I think this is the same way you get Bitcoin. I'm pretty sure. Is that right?
That is. This is he actually mined a bunch of Bitcoin this way, and he did not. That's how he funded his experiment. So
non-fungible experiment.
What he found was that was good.
Thanks.
What he found was that after a certain amount of time, and apparently it varied greatly from individual to individual.
Oh.
But over the course of the hour, it sounds like without exception, there would come a point where they're clearly very interested in doing the experiment right, of going right or left.
Yeah.
And then at some point, everyone, or nearly everyone, just fell off a cliff where they were like going, screw this experiment.
Bitch, give me my money.
Why the hell did I sign up for this?
I'm a student. Get paid.
They were just going left.
I love that it only cost 5 cents to make someone be dishonest as well.
But
granted, the stakes for dishonesty very low.
Right.
But still, 5 cents, and you're like, it's fine.
But it's also an hour that you're doing it for.
That's so long.
It's so long, and I could see where that would just completely erode.
I realize I just said that's so long, and our podcast is 1 hour, and listeners are like, you're telling me, buddy.
So, and so here's the question.
Yes.
Were those people in that experiment, were they being dishonest by clicking left?
I feel like their honesty would be dependent on their report afterwards. Like if you ask them, like, did you respond to this the way that we asked? Or I guess if they agreed up front, like, oh, yes, I will answer in this way.
Right.
I would say, yeah, they're being dishonest.
Right. Well, and I think, so again, I wasn't part of the experiment, but in my mind, the way the experiment works is you see the graphic.
You weren't. Thanks for telling me you weren't a part of the experiment.
I
wasn't a part of it. I would love if you were, and you're like, was I being dishonest? I still don't know. I need help.
I feel so tortured internally.
I still can't eat cookies to this day. I'm still eating turnips.
But they saw the graphic for, again, 1 second. And then I think after that, in my mind, the question came up. Were there more dots on the right or the left?
Yeah.
So then you were lying if there was clearly more dots on the right and you still clicked left.
Yeah.
You were at that point you were 100% lying. So you were being
lying.
Unethical.
Yeah.
You were lying to get the money. Yeah. Exactly.
Ooh, which accountants? That is directly applicable.
Exactly. So, so we have experimental evidence that people are being dishonest when their ego is depleted.
I want to point out I haven't eaten any turnips and I haven't eaten any Reese's Pieces.
Will you try one? They're horrible.
No, I don't.
Just give it a shot.
I found the loophole in your experiment and that I don't have to eat either one.
You don't have to eat either.
And I should still get the money.
Well, maybe you will. I'm going to see if those Reese's Pieces erode your self-control.
No, don't eat them in front of me. I do feel my ego being depleted in a funny way.
Oh, wait.
Where at first I was
hold
like,
on. Let's do ASMR real quick.
No, gross. No one wants. Oh, there we go.
And now I have to wash these down with Sparkle Donkey.
It's so funny. At 2 shots, I'm still excited. At 3 shots, I'm still excited. It's after 4 that I'm like, oh God, we're doing this more.
Is this 4? Wow.
My ego is being depleted in a way that I like. At the beginning, I was like, there's no way I'm eating a turnip, but now I'm at least tipsy enough that I'm like, I might eat a turnip. What's it going to do to me?
Your ego's being depleted the wrong way.
Wrong way.
Like peer pressure could work. Come on, man, eat a turnip.
Before my ego was like, there's no way you want to eat one of those turnips. And now my id is like, you can eat a turnip.
Do you want to die without ever having the experience of eating a turnip raw? No, I mean, room temperature raw turnip, no dip? Come on.
Room temperature, farm to table, though.
Well, farm to grocery store to fridge for a couple of days to get cutting board to table. Back to accountants.
Yes.
One of the things that
coming at you guys,
I feel is so important about ego depletion with accountants is we totally are horrible about depleting our ego during busy season.
Oh, because you're constantly, you guys are busy. I mean, I'm sure you're busy a lot, but especially one time a year, you guys like go crazy, right?
Yeah, for basically a 3-month period. We're
that Q1 experience or whatever?
We are pretty close. We're just we are intentionally like ruining ourselves in terms of our ego depletion. There are firms, fortunately I worked in a firm for 1 year and then I got hired away and now I'm the in-house CPA for a group of medical office buildings.
Yeah.
That was very difficult to say, group of medical office buildings. But from what I know from people who do work, especially in tax, in accounting firms, but also in audit is during busy season, you're expected to clock often, not every firm, but often you're expected to clock 60 plus billable hours every week for your job, which means that's just work that you can charge back to a client. It doesn't include like checking emails and going to the bathroom.
Or doing the thing that I'm really surprised you guys have to do at the same time as you're preparing taxes is you have to approve my budgeting that I send your way. And if your ego's depleted, why are you guys always such assholes in approving all my budget each year during Q1?
We should just be ego depleted?
You would think I could put anything out there and you would be like, that looks good to me. But instead, I feel like it's very much so the opposite.
It could be. It could be like, I don't have time to look at this. No, make it less.
Oh, I feel like most accountants I've known, maybe they don't look at it, but they just assume that it's bad. And they always send it back to me. They're like, too much.
Oh, absolutely. Well,
and I'm like, oh, really?
Well, my official job title is controller, which means I'm supposed to control spending. So my job is to say how much you want to spend. How can we spend less?
Yeah.
And do you know, I actually call myself technically a comptroller because I can come up with my own title because A, I think it's funnier, and B, technically it's just the German word for controller. So,
really?
There you go. So
controller.
It's comptroller. Hello, I am Herr Comptroller Kite.
Oh, no.
So, okay, how do we I've got a few things. Actually, maybe you saw the cheat sheet ahead of time. Don't look at it right now.
All right.
What do you think people can do to replenish their ego, to get their self-control stronger after it's been depleted? Because there are some studies that show a few things that you can do.
Yeah, you can do a couple things.
What do you think?
You can go for a long walk. Or you can take some personal time, a little self-care.
Okay, good.
Or, once again, back to Freud, you can go have sex with your mother.
Jesus, stop.
It's an option. Stop. You're not going to give the people all the options, Greg. It's unethical to limit people just because you have a disagreement with the fundamental psychology of it, Greg.
Okay, here's the things that we've really found that can help replenish ego.
Sponsored by Sparkle Donkey.
What? Gosh.
4 shots is fun.
Okay, so here's 4 things that come up that can replenish one's
your ego.
One very clear recovery period is just because basically when people think about ego depletion, they're talking about in a given day. You've got a limited supply of willpower in a given day. I see that with eating. When I'm trying to eat right, in the mornings, from when I wake up till about 5:30 or 6 in the evening, I can eat exactly the diet that I mean to.
Oh, yeah.
And then at that point, I think my ego gets depleted, and I eat all the Doritos and Reese's Pieces.
That's why I decide what I'm going to eat for lunch in the morning. That's true.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of it.
But then the next day,
I never decide what I'm going to eat for dinner, and I eat the steaming pile of shit that the psychologist offered me for dinner every single time.
You eat the turnips,
true.
yeah.
I really do. I just eat terribly for dinner.
But here's the other crazy thing that I notice is on the days when I am good the entire day and I go to bed and I go, okay, today I ate exactly the way I'm supposed to. The next morning, I'm not depleted. I can start off the next day because I had a recovery period.
Is that different from latency period?
I don't know.
Oh. It's a sexual term.
Is it?
I won't go too into detail.
Okay, you're very as clearly Sparkle Donkey makes you horny. The next thing to think about.
How much sparkle is in this donkey? I'm feeling great.
The 2 other things that I think are kind of stupid, but this is what I found in my research that can help undeplete one's ego are comedy videos. Undeplete can refill your ego. Comedy videos and surprise gifts.
Comedy videos?
Yeah, like what? Like here's a cat video from YouTube. Watch this, and then you'll have more self-control.
So when I'm scrolling TikTok at work, I should just let people know, no.
This is how
I'm undeplenishing my ego.
Either I scroll TikTok or I embezzle. You make the choice. So, or a surprise gift. And a surprise gift to me makes a little bit better sense.
Surprise gift or surprise gift?
Gift. Okay. Surprise gift.
Okay. Cat videos or cat gifts? And then cat gifts.
No, a surprise gift.
Okay.
Where it's like, hey, surprise.
I call them gifts.
Here's do you ever get gifts from your employer? Like,
from my employer?
Yeah.
No.
Because, see, again, accountants, they do this. During busy season, they're doing everything they can to, like, make people less butthurt about busy season. So it's actually fairly common to go, hey guys, we just ordered an amazing lunch for everybody. Come get your amazing lunch and fill your bellies and then go back to your schedule.
You're telling me employers give you free lunch because they want something from you in exchange?
Exactly.
It's all just a trick?
Exactly. And even more so, I believe that I heard a friend who was at a firm who their not infrequent gift during busy season is, hey, here's a Hostess fruit pie and a Monster Energy drink. Keep
that
at
one's
it.
much less curtained for what the desire is.
But another thing that will replenish.
We gave you guys a free basket of Adderall for tax season. Here's your gift.
And here's shot 5. Awesome. We're going to be so deep before we get to the second topic.
I hate that I make a face each time I drink it. Like, I genuinely enjoy it, but I can't not make a face for some reason.
So back to the Monster Energy drink and the Hostess fruit pie.
Bring it back now, y'all.
Another thing that they've said.
I'm eating a turnip.
Yeah, do it. Tell me how horrible it is. And
tastes like tequila.
It does right after you've had tequila. Right?
If dirt could piss, this is what it tastes like. Oh my God, this is awful.
Isn't it the worst?
Seriously.
I'd never had a turnip before I took
if
the bite of
dirt
turnip.
urinated, it would urinate turnips. Oh my goodness. Why do we keep these?
I don't know.
Has science not moved us past the turnip?
They have to rutabagas.
Who? Why?
So, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, focus up.
Oh. I'm gonna take another bite.
Horrible, right?
It's awful.
You can give up. I'm not going to take I took a big old, I think my one bite was bigger than your 2 little nibbles.
What do people use this for?
For punishing people in psychology experiments.
Your bite was bigger?
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Terrible decision.
He just...
terrible decision.
Awesome. Okay, so Monster Energy drink and Hostess fruit pies.
Yeah.
One of the other things they found will replenish an ego is a blood glucose bump.
Oh.
So blood sugar...
I don't know why I thought you were going to say blood sacrifice, but I thought for sure.
They haven't done a thorough
also
experiment.
The blood of a virgin.
See, they looked into that, but they didn't have an effective control group, so they weren't able to actually have definitive results.
Everyone's eyes kept going ethereal black, and it was just very confusing for the whole group.
But who knows if they would have gone ethereal black without this blood sacrifice of a virgin into a volcano.
It's a fair point.
So blood glucose sugar, if that goes up, then you're doing better. You'll have a more replenished ego. So Monster Energy drink and a Hostess fruit pie could do a 2-for where it's a surprise gift and it increases your blood sugar level.
So that person's boss read the research, gave them what would help, but did not think about the humanity of being kind to human beings and not giving them diabetes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then one other interesting twist on this, I had our comedian friend Shane Smith.
Yeah.
He was on a webinar, an ethics webinar I did a long time ago.
Good for him.
And we were talking about ego depletion, and it was so fun because he was like, "Hey, Greg, that ego depletion stuff, everything you said, 100% bullshit." He didn't believe it.
He doesn't buy it?
He doesn't buy it at all. And here's why. And I thought this was so interesting. He was in the military, and he said in the military, they very specifically in our training, they give us the most mundane tasks. And they're like, you have to do this either until we tell you to stop or until you literally expire from doing it, whether you pass out or you die.
Wow.
And it's like, do it, go. And the whole idea was we're training you because if you can't do this now, then on the battlefield, you might have to do something like this and people are going to freaking die if you don't do this. And he said, I 100% tell me whatever I need to do in the military and tell me to do it infinity times. I will do it infinity times.
Sounds like they were increasing his ego well, though.
Yeah, I think.
Because anyone who has a toddler could obviously tell you, there's a certain amount of whys that you get asked. My son just entered this age where it's like, hey, it's time to go to bed. Why? Oh, because it's dark outside. Why? Because the sun went down. Why? Because the earth revolves around the sun. Why? Well, that depends on your religious and or scientific beliefs at that point. Why? Well, because when man was created, they needed to have explanations for why I don't know. I don't just go to bed. Or you know what? Stay up. Stay awake. I don't care. Stay awake.
Right.
And that's, I think anyone with a toddler would be like, no, it happened. It's for real.
No, but I think that's a great thing. So like, so 2 counter examples to ego depletion would be parenting and would be the military. But the idea is the stakes are so great.
Sure.
Because with a child, you're like, if I'm not parenting right, this child could die.
If you told me I have to eat the rest of this turnip or else you're going to shoot somebody,
Yeah.
I would be like, what did I sign up for?
Give me
this was a terrible decision.
Right.
And then I would call the cops. But in a less realistic world, I just eat the turnip.
Eat all the turnips. Yeah. No, exactly.
I eat a turnip.
And so
it's pretty gross.
I think that's a fascinating insight into ego depletion. And then to bring it back around.
So for employers, hostage situations also increase ego.
Right.
Good.
You make ethical decisions or I am going to shoot Larry in the break room. Do it.
So much work will
Be
get
ethical.
done. So much
or
work.
Or Larry gets it in the face.
The trolley experiment was really about ego depletion is what it was.
It was. So, but on a more realistic level, one of the things that accountants could do and I like what you said, it's not so much that it replenishes the ego.
I've never met an accountant who doesn't seem on the verge of shooting someone in the face. So I don't know if it's more realistic.
I don't feel like I give up that.
You're the exception.
Nice. So I like what you said, that it's not so much replenishing the ego as it is giving you like a larger chunk of ego.
Yeah.
To be. I almost.
I
think
said well.
I
like well.
I think it almost gives you like a superhero ego.
Oh.
Because I don't see that being depleted. It's not like it gives you more that's going to get deplenished because.
You think it's unlimited?
Depleted. That's what. Well, let's think of the two examples we said. In the military,
I use the children version.
It was like well, let's say this. I'm going to shoot Larry in the face if you stop eating radishes.
Yeah.
Then you're just going to keep eating radishes till
I need to know a little bit more
radishes.
about Larry, I think, because I just ate these. They're pretty gross. Pretty gross.
So with accountants, the idea would be, okay, what we're doing is incredibly important.
Oh, okay.
And if you make a poor ethical decision, it's going to ruin people's lives.
Oh.
Which is absolutely the case, and we see that. I mean, the thing I go to immediately is Enron. People lost their life savings because Arthur Anderson didn't do the job they were supposed to, and because the accountants inside Enron were doing some very unethical things.
I can't wait till someone screws up so bad they replace Enron as the classic example.
Yeah, it's been 20 years. Come on, let's get
it's bound to happen.
Jeez. So
I think it'll be crypto. Someone in crypto.
I bet you're right.
The one.
Now the thing that kind of sucks about that is that I think initially accountants can go, yeah, what I do is incredibly important, and if we screw this up, the world markets will collapse.
Yeah, that's actually very romantic to me. If you just find enough purpose in your work, that's nice.
Gotcha.
Ooh.
That's 6. Ooh. We're getting close to the end. We haven't even started topic number 2. So let's get going on that.
Okay.
Topic number 2. Okay, so first off, just to sum up, ego depletion, you're going to make worse ethical choices if you're exhausted or if you've had to make a lot of ethical decisions. Eventually, you're going to crumble. The research says
crumble.
You're gonna make a bad ethical decision.
Not a sponsor.
So maybe don't work 60 plus hours a week during busy season.
There's so many accountants who just rolled their eyes at that, though.
Yeah,
Greg. They're going to be like, you have to work 60 hours a week.
So here's a better idea. If your firm, every single freaking accounting firm on the planet says,
frackers.
Everyone says this. They say one of our core values is that we are dedicated to the highest levels of integrity with what we do. And I call bullshit on a firm who says that, who understands ego depletion and still requires their employees to get 60 billable hours of billable time every week during busy season. That's bullshit. And you choke on your core values.
Oh my gosh, this is getting so intense.
Is that you were egging me on? It was easy
that's
to
true.
do.
I went full Lil Jon on that situation.
Okay, so topic number 2, the ultimatum game.
The ultimatum game.
Okay, so I want to start off with this question.
Are we going to play this game?
We are going to play this game.
That was an ultimatum.
We're going to play it 6 shots in. I'm feeling okay. How are you feeling with it?
I feel pretty good.
I don't feel particularly drunk. This is
I feel like I want to shimmy, and that's like my main symbol that I'm I'm there.
This is foolproof tequila. This is 40 proof, which so 40%, 80 proof, 40%.
40%. What was whiskey?
40%, same thing.
Same dealio?
Yeah, most of your booze are 40%.
Not my booze. I don't have any booze in the house.
Okay.
Isn't that a sad story?
No, it's
Saddest
not.
story Hemingway ever wrote was
not.
Children's shoes never worn for sale or whatever. Mine is full house, no booze. guy who wants to get drunk.
I'm trying to eat
it's
Reese's
an equally
Pieces.
sad story.
I'm trying to eat Reese's Pieces without ASMRing them.
As soon as I said those sentences, I was like, I'm going to regret everything coming out of my mouth. But I said it anyway.
I was so not even paying attention, which is
you
fine.
ate Reese's Pieces. You get
said
no
Hemingway?
money.
I've only read one Hemingway book.
I was supposed to quote Shakespeare.
Oh, you totally failed. Don't worry about it.
Caliban. Count it.
Out, damn spot. That's what I got for you.
Good. That was great. We got
good.
Macbeth and the Tempest.
So if I won the lottery, because I love winning. I
hope you do.
I won the lottery.
You can't. You live in Utah.
No,
Wait, you did?
I went to Crystal and I went through Arizona. We bought scratchers, and I won the lottery. I won $1. Did you know this about me?
You won $1.
No, listen.
You could have asked someone for $1.
Listen, I know, but listen, I have a collection of. Because I won $1.
Yeah.
I didn't cash it in when we were in Arizona. I came back. I filled out the form. I sent it into Arizona. I forced them to write me a check for $1 that they mailed to me. And guess what?
They lost so much money on your winnings.
No, I'm not even going to cash the check because what I do is I collect $1 lottery winning checks from every state. And I think
That's
Arizona
awesome.
puts me up to 10 states that I'm at now.
Very cool.
But here's the thing. If I won big, let's say I won $50+ million in the lottery. Would you expect me to give you a piece of that of my winnings?
Would I expect you to give me $50 million?
Would you be butthurt if I didn't give you part of my lottery winnings?
No.
Okay,
but I would expect to be along for the ride.
Okay,
like you would be doing something cool, and I'd be like, "Greg, how am I involved?"
Yeah, like an ethics webinar where we drink Sparkle Donkey.
Well, you'd probably buy something even more expensive, or we'd take like a bottle of Sparkle Donkey. It's very good.
This stuff makes me super happy.
Yeah, it's fun.
So, but okay, so
$50 million.
What if your best?
I tried to explain that, and I was like, "That's 50 millions," and that's what the word is.
Is it?
So that doesn't help.
No, not at all.
Imagine a million things. It's 50 of those. Still doesn't work.
Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I'm one of 5.
Okay, what if your brother won $50 million? What if Alex won $50 million? Would you expect a cut of that?
I'd expect it because one of the things I think of every night before I go to sleep, one of the things that I start imagining to help me go to bed is if I won the lottery, what would I do with it? And then I start divvying up the winnings immediately, and family's always first on this. So I would assume that he would give me something.
Okay.
Well, he's a nice guy.
But would you be butthurt if he didn't?
If he didn't?
Yeah.
I'd be a little upset, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah. He got something for nothing and he's not going to pay out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'd be upset.
I love it. That's how we're setting this up. We're gonna play the ultimatum.
If I was less drunk, I would be very passive aggressive and pretend I wouldn't be upset. Yeah. But I'm honest enough right now that I'm like, yes, Alex, if you're listening and you won the lottery, keep it to your goddamn self because I'm gonna be very upset if you don't share it.
Yeah, Alex, listen up. So we're gonna play the ultimatum game right now.
Let's do it.
And the ultimatum game is rad. Here's you. So and
the ultimatum game is radishes.
Crystal is going to be playing this as well.
So Crystal,
you each have a role to play in this game. So
I will play Caliban from the Tempest.
I am giving you guys collectively. You get $20. So here's $20 in cash right here that I'm giving to you and Crystal.
I have it?
But yeah, you can. You have to have it for the starters.
Okay.
Because your role in this game, you get that's $20 for the two of you.
Yeah.
Your role is that you get to split the money any way you want between you and Crystal. Okay? And then Crystal gets to decide whether she accepts your split or rejects your split. If she accepts it, you guys keep the money the way that it's divvied up. If she rejects it, you both get nothing. You get zero. If she rejects it,
I don't get squat.
You guys get no money at all if she rejects it.
Do I actually get to keep this? Is this a bonus?
Yes, it is.
Dude.
It's a bonus because I'm ethical AF.
So this is interesting because it's advantageous for her to take anything because if she says no, she's going to end up with absolutely nothing. Right. And something's better than nothing.
Okay.
Unless she's like, screw you, Adam. It is the dollars are not worth as much as the knife in your eye to be like,
right.
I'm not gonna take this.
Right.
It's worth $5 to say screw you, which is fun.
Okay, here's some.
Crystal's like the nicest person in the world. So honestly, I think I could give her a penny and she'd be like, no, Adam deserves $19.99. He's such a good guy. He deserves $19.99. So I could use that to my advantage. Is this what supervillains feel like?
This is exactly what they feel like, and your ego has been depleted. And here's shot number 7.
This shot glass is about to be depleted, you know what I mean?
So, 2 other parts of the rules of this game.
Go on.
You can't give her 0.
Okay.
But it seems like you already knew that. You can't keep,
I didn't know that.
You can't keep 0.
Whoa, I'm a really good person. I didn't know I could give her 0, and in my worst case scenario, I gave her something.
Exactly, you gave her a penny. And then the other thing is, you guys can't,
such a good person.
You can't negotiate the split. She can't be like, hey, listen, if you give me less than this much, I'm totally going to
Do you know Morse code? Can you blink in Morse code?
So your job right now, because is split up that cash.
You know what's fun is you were like, you have to give this to her, and my first thought was I have to give this into her way, and so my first thought was like, yeah.
Oh, as making it rain,
sort of style instead.
Because I gave you the proper denominations where you can make any split. You got a 10, a 5, 4 ones, 3 quarters, a dime, 2 nickels, and 5 pennies. Look at that, 6 shots in, and I can still be an accountant.
You know what's fun?
What's that?
6 shots in. I didn't understand.
Oh, we're 7 shots in.
7 shots in? I didn't understand a word you said.
You're pouring yourself a number 8?
Oh, yeah, we're 7 shots in.
Don't do it. I think your wife would make me slap that shot out of your hand.
You ready for drunk Adam to completely screw up your experiment?
Yeah.
Here's $20, Crystal.
Oh, but you can't. That's against the rules.
I'll take a penny.
Oh, okay.
It's $19.99.
All right. So, Crystal.
What about that?
Crystal.
I immediately feel bad, actually. Can I change my answer?
No. You did it. You made it. So, Crystal, your job is to accept or reject the split.
But keep in mind, we hold a relationship after this experiment. You can give some stuff back if you want.
Oh, I love what you just said. What do? Do you accept the split or do you reject the split?
Buy yourself something nice.
I would accept, but I feel like he wants me to not.
No, I want you to accept it.
What do you want to do? Follow your heart. Do what your heart says.
To accept it. I want you to accept it.
I mean, come on, accept it. Accept
on behalf of the Sparkle Donkey family.
She's not on a mic. She would personally say,
let's split it.
Let's split. Oh, so she would reject it. She would accept it only to redistribute it after the fact.
What's fun about this? I was going to split it even, but it was worth it enough to screw up Greg's experiment for me to give you $9.99 extra.
So what do? Final answer. You're not allowed to negotiate.
Yeah,
so
you have to
final
accept
offer,
or
do you accept it or reject it?
Take my gift.
She accepts it. Okay. Which makes sense. Okay.
Heart.
Let me tell you many things. So there's so many cool things that just happened right now in this experiment. So first off,
can't wait to buy something with this penny.
Because I read a ton of research about this exact game, because this is like a favorite game for social scientists. The world round.
That's true. Psychologists love this game.
Because you'd heard about this game before.
Too many times.
You're so bored with this.
Too many times.
So let me see if this makes sense. So first off, what they found was that generally speaking, if the split is less generous than 75-25, so you keep 75, you give 25 to the other person.
Yeah.
That generally at that point,
if it was left some $5.
Yeah. So if you gave her less than $5, then all of a sudden the amount of rejections of the offer start just skyrocketing at that point. And then
imagine the real world repercussions. That's a tough word.
Yes.
Repercussions.
Yeah.
The percussions.
You're a very good beatboxer.
I play drums with my mouth as well as my hands.
Nice.
And if Crystal had gotten less than $5, imagine the real world repercussions if she actually was upset with me. Wouldn't that be fun?
Right. Well,
That'd be very sad.
And we're gonna get back to that.
$5 ruined our relationship.
What you just said is like the very last point I want to make, because that's the take home. Here's another thing I want to tell you about the experiments.
Tell me all the things, Greg.
Because
read Wikipedia.
$20 is not a life-changing amount of money, obviously. No. However, they did this experiment in some third world countries.
Oh yeah,
and I think they used like $100.
Yeah,
and
cruel experiment.
That's like a month's wages or 2 weeks worth of. So I
remember reading this and immediately getting sad. But go on.
Yeah, right. It's kind of a dick thing to do. It's like, hey, people who can barely subsist.
These people aren't poor enough. Let's find some starving people to feed. And still not feed some of them.
But here's what's great. So it was somewhere between a half a month's and a month's wages for these people is what they were having to split up.
Psychologists need ethical training.
And what they found, same thing, 25% split. And
Same deal. Even people who are like, this could put food on my table, they were like, yeah, but it's worth more.
Yeah, where it's like
to say screw you.
A 25% of
God, I love humans. That's so fun.
Would be like a week's wages, and you're still like, you were too stingy. But now
I love that, honestly.
Here's another crazy thing, though. They did the experiment in Micronesia.
Okay.
And apparently
the smallest of the Nesias.
You can't get, well, there's the Nanonesia.
Nanonesia.
But the Micronesia.
The Amnesia, the Micronesia, and the Nanomnesia.
They did They did the experiment in Micronesia, and apparently the culture in Micronesia.
Yeah, say it again.
In Micronesia is that your social capital is built on gift giving.
Oh.
So they did splits
Gifts
like
are more meaningful in Micronesia.
Yeah, where you're like going, I could give a hyper generous offer, which is what you just did.
I'm moving to Micronesia.
I can give a hyper generous offer and I don't get as much money, but everybody's gonna think I'm the fucking man.
That's
for
cool.
doing that, and they'd be like, "Cool, I get to split this. I'll keep a penny. You keep 19.99."
Did they do that?
They did that, but here's the
Bless
crazy.
their sweethearts. Did they end up upset about it?
The person receiving the gift did, and they were like, "F you."
Oh, they would say no?
You think I need $19.99 of your goddamn money?
Oh,
you and everything about you. Nobody gets anything.
Which Crystal felt a piece of, where she was like, I don't want this much. I want half of it.
Right. So that's a crazy spin on the whole thing. And then, but here's what I want to get to.
That just revolutionized my world in gift giving for Christmas. Is when you think of the best gift to give somebody, give them a step down from that. Give them a little bit of disappointment is what I just learned. And that's Christmas.
That's the true spirit of Christmas. That's the true spirit of
that's what Jesus
donkey.
would want.
But here's the takeaway I want to talk about.
Take me away.
Is they did this experiment where they made sure that the two parties of the game were completely anonymous. So you were playing this game, but you didn't know.
But I didn't know Crystal. That would change my decision.
Not only did you not know her, you didn't know. It could be your mom. It could be a stranger. You have no idea who this other person is. You don't get to see him. You don't get to interact with him. You know nothing about them.
Love is blinding it.
Period. That you know nothing. And what they found out is in a complete veil of anonymity between the person splitting the money and the person accepting or rejecting the offer.
A mystery person.
They found that people started giving stingier splits. So they were starting to go, I'm going to keep way more of this money, and you're going to take $2 and you're going to be happy about it. And then they found the same thing. The other person, the accept or rejector person, that person would expect more. They flush deals quicker, like more than at 25%. They'd be like going, I get 50% or I get nothing. So screw you.
We treat strangers worse, and strangers expect more from us.
Well, no, it's not so much strangers.
Right?
It's the fact that you don't even know. You know that your identity will never be seen.
Oh man!
So it's not just that it's a stranger.
It's like a protection of self.
Yeah, because if they could see you, you could be like. Because I've done this.
I almost said that. I almost said you have to understand. I'm being recorded right now, and whatever is going to happen, what I choose. Yeah. I just chose a scent, and everybody knows me for the scent guy. But now I'm saying it out loud, and that completely ruined it. You can't get me drunk and then make me say out loud the things that make me look nice, Greg.
But that's awesome because, listen, because what you just said is exactly the point. So if anonymity makes people bigger
Rubbing
dicks.
my nose has never felt better. This feels so good.
Last week it was moving your head back and forth.
Oh, that's true. That feels great. This is so good.
So, okay.
But dizzy.
Focus in with me for this last little bit. So what you just said was,
welcome to ethics.
Since you were absolutely knew that this was being recorded, and
knew that you were listening.
People would know how Adam Browd split that money. You went hyper, like good guy.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to think I'm a good guy generally, but maybe that's me preserving my image of self already, where I'm like, no, actually, I made that decision because I am a good person, when really I made that decision under the influence of both alcohol and an audience.
Yes. Right? Well, but regardless of why you made that, and part of what you're saying is what we talked about last time is the bias blind spot. Where you're like going, I'm not affected by transparency or anonymity. I'm this way regardless. You are affected by it.
It was a joke.
But here's the thing.
And a good one.
Transparency is the silver bullet for ethical behavior.
Transparency is say it again.
Transparency.
Being invisible.
Transparency
makes me think of.
Is the silver bullet for ethical behavior because it does two things.
If people can see that this goes back to Greg the accountant, then you're going to be more honest, because it's worse to be like, hey, I just lied about this, but I got the gamble of getting away with it is not worth the personal depletion of your own
of my self-esteem, of myself.
There are so many words in the English language, and all of them are so hard to find.
But listen,
now.
It's not the financial gain is not worth. It's back to the Micronesia
being
thing.
Like Greg's sucks. He's a
social.
dishonest.
We all are concerned about our social capital.
That makes
sense.
And
the money that I make is not worth me being a pariah for everybody on the planet. I don't want to be a social piranha. And then the flip side of that, like let's say there's some dumb rule at work that you're
probably
like, this
is. Have you been to work?
Stupid. Yes.
Yeah.
Like you're going, they only allow me to make 19 copies at maximum on any given month on the company copy machine.
A teacher in a public school?
And then you go, I need 24, and you're going,
no way, bro.
And then you've got this. So again, transparency is the silver bullet.
Oh.
Because you can go to your supervisor and go, hey, I know that the policy says 19. I'm going to make 24. Are you cool with that? And then they go, yeah, I'm cool with that. And then you go, right on. Then at that point, you didn't make an unethical decision.
Yeah, transparency will help you kill werewolves.
And as soon as you bring it up, so you just made transparency two ways.
Yeah.
Because on the one hand, if they say, yeah, then you can break the rule, but you're still being ethical because someone in authority over you said, go ahead and do what you're doing. It's fine.
Yeah.
So you're good.
Explain this.
The flip side of that is
Crystal's out of the room and I'm stealing 10 of her dollars.
You just
explain that one, Greg. Well, Hamilton.
But by asking,
how does a bastard orphan son
wait,
of
stop. We don't have the rights for that song. I'm 7 shots in, but I still know copyright law. Now, what was I saying? What was I saying?
Sparkle Donkey.
Thanks
for queuing in to Ethics with Drunk People.
Hold on.
We've got drunks and we've got dollars.
I've got one last.
If you like ethics, you should check out our other podcasts, such as Donkey Time. Donkey Time is about sparkles. They can sparkle with the donkeys, and we'll drink them. And if you'd like that, then you should check out this box with different dots. Sponsored by Squarespace.
So in summary, be transparent. Guys, this has been episode 2.
Episode 2
of Drunk Ethics, not sponsored by Sparkle Donkeys.
No, but Sparkle Donkey, shout or call us out. Email us. Text us.
I'm going back to Wyoming. I gotta get more of this stuff. It might have been Idaho.
I honestly feel bad for the whiskey we drank last week because we were like, this is fine, but this is
tip top,
literally amazing stuff.
And they're not a sponsor, so yeah.
And I'm biased against donkeys to begin with.
So guys, I'm Greg.
Fun fact.
I'm Greg Kite.
Yeah, you are. Don't ever stop being you.
And
Greg's pointing at me. He knows he wants. I'm also Greg Kite. Plot twist. I'm M. Night Shyamalan.
And this has been Drunk Ethics. Thank you so much for listening. Now go take your quiz and get your CPE.
7 shots in.
Accountants have the responsibility to uphold accountability, transparency, and ensure ethical decision-making.
And are expected to support fairs, county and state ones, and reliable financial reporting and disclosures in support of the public Pinterest.
You're so much drunker than me.
Dude, I feel great.